Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Probably not yet. Okay. Can you hear me now? Why can't I not hear me? Oh, now I can. Now I can. Carol, you do know I can read that stuff you're saying about me. Maybe I heard it from you. Maybe that's what I'm quoting. Yes, I was on the phone with somebody and we just hung. I told him when he called, I told that person when he called that he did realize that I was on a short leash. Was I still late? Well, just barely. And went, no, I can probably out talk most women, Carol. Although, ask Brenda how long she was on the phone yesterday. Maple bacon is in the room. Yum. Well, there's Monarch Moments in the room. Anybody else in the room? Everybody else probably looked at that thumbnail and said, I'm not going in there. And they might have been smart not to. It doesn't matter if it was your fault. It was how long you were on the phone. That's what, inquiring minds want to know. If you don't tell them, I will. It'd be better coming from you. Yeah, he's been known to do that, Carol. That's a good point. He's practiced, though. I think he used to be a professional. Hey, buddy, you want to get up and say hi while you're awake? Hmm? You want to get up and say hi? Here, I'm going to spin you around a little bit. That way, if you stand up, people can see Teddy ears. I could probably adjust my camera and you guys could watch him sleep if you wanted to. 3 hours, and then they felt the need to call me back. Yeah, and I think it was a total of 5 hours, Carol. I'm just going to go ahead and say it because apparently she's going to hem home, beat around the bush, and not admit it. She was on the phone for about 5 hours yesterday, whether she wanted to be or not. And it's your fault. You called first. Carol's going to be. She's going to YouTube stream the carnage. I like that. Although if it's, well, I don't know. I'll start to say if it's Mike and Garrett, it might not matter, but Mike's big and strong. Garrett might be quick and, sneaky. What's that old? We have an old saying. I don't know if it's just us, but it's something about. I know I've heard motorcycle people say this. They talk about how fat the young guys would always get somewhere first because they were riding faster, and the old guys would get. Oh, that's not how it goes. Anyway, they were old guys were diabolical and sneaky or something. I can't remember that. I need to get Phil in here. Grizzly Ben. Carol, it was 2-5. It was all afternoon yesterday. All afternoon. Now she can say it was not 5 hours if she wants to, but it was a long time. But I'm not going to say I can't talk. Mark and I have actually been on the phone for over 3 hours before, once or twice anyway. That's back when we first got talking together. I can't get him on the phone now. So what's on everybody's mind tonight? Anybody else got a thought that they or an idea they'd like to throw at me? Conversation went over and over the same things. Yes. Well, I'll confess. Brenda had contacted one of my first cousins, and basically, bless her heart, she means well, but she's a bit OCD about some things, and she gets a hold of something and it just drives her absolutely crazy, and she'll just talk about it over and over and over and over. We can always talk about the next presidential race. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a bit worried about it. Brenda, we need to connect your chatty friend with my chatty friend, and then they can go talk to each other. And then you and I will go to Dollywood. I bet Janine could keep her on the phone probably about. They'd probably do well then, Carol. Let's talk about bacon. Bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon. I tell you what, if you guys have any interest in politics and the current situation and what's going on, you should. I really, really, really recommend you go back and pull some of the books that have been written about the Nazi, the trials and things that were done in this country, the fascist issues back in the 30s and early 40s in this country. Some of them you will not believe. Hey, Carol wants to nominate you to run for president. What do you think? Might interfere with naps. Oh, he's not sure about that, Carol. I'm not sure there is anything that doesn't go with bacon, Garrett. Anyway, back what I said. You really ought to read up. I could give you a list of books if anybody's really interested. Of books that you ought to read that almost seem like they're ripped from the headlines of today, to use a paper copy of information and news tagline. I had to cook because none of the pizza places are delivering. That's true. She didn't want to cook and she wanted to get pizza, but nobody's even open. They couldn't get in here anyway. They'd have to drop somebody off out somewhere out on the highway, and they'd have to catch dog sled to get in here. And I know some of you northern people are going to say, "Oh, that's crazy. You can't have that much snow," but you haven't seen our hill. Could you beat Donald J. Trump? No comment. Mike, we need to get you and Diana signed up down here somewhere, somewhere to go vote, like, North Dakota or Montana or, Wisconsin, someplace where you could just, sneak down over the border and take up residence temporarily and get you a card. And no fair pizza is an American right pizza for the Pruitts. Well, the Pruitts aren't going to get any pizza till some of this ice melts. Oh, it's two whole different things there, Garrett. I don't. Oh, Cat Smart versus Trump Smart's what I meant to put up there. Anyway, you guys should do that. If you really are interested at all, you should do that, because it's amazing the parallels. And I told somebody earlier that they should be they want. I mean, it's almost like they read. It's almost like somebody on that side has read all these books also, and they're just taking their strategy right out of those books, because it's unbelievable how many things they're saying that are almost word for word from trial transcripts and things from the 1930s. It's amazing. If you had dual citizenship, Maple Bacon, I think you would be allowed to vote. Yes. I believe dual citizenship awards you that right. I believe, because I've heard that from somebody else. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And if that worked out, Mike, maybe we can get some more Canadians to come down and do the same thing. if they're on the right side of history. Because it's all about history. Because the present, even the future is going to be history someday. So please vote. Help us out. Help. Let go of my arm. Let go of my arm. Quit being so doggone cute and cuddly. Yeah, you're way too big to do that sweet thing. Let me check your eye a minute. It's the only cat we've ever had that doesn't get crusties in his eyes. If you're going to put Teddy down here, remember, you got to put Teddy Pockets. That's his. He said, my initials are TPP. Aren't they, buddy? Yeah. So, anybody in this group, we're not very big tonight, but did anybody in this group get caught out by the weather and not be able to? Mickey Mouse was my right-in Hillary versus Trump. Shame on you, Garrett. The only redeeming thing about that is California probably went to Hillary, so I might let you off, but if it didn't, then I blame you. Treats for everybody and tuna for all the cats. What are you talking? Oh, you're talking about what he can make. I just ran, so a good day weather, nice. Oh. The reason I'm asking about that, there were a lot of people stuck in airports all over this country in the last few days. There was one of the other young ladies that I follow on Facebook because of Sarah. There's like a whole bunch of them now that have sort of gotten together and are talking about flying and what they want to do with their flying careers if they have them and such as that. And I've been listening and watching and looking at some of their airplanes because a couple of them have got pretty deep, nice airplanes available. But anyway, one of the young ladies is from California. In fact, Garrett, she's from out around your area, somewhere around the Bay Area. And well, she just said San Francisco, so maybe she's from the city. But she was somewhere, and I don't know if she was with Sarah or not. They've been together some. I hope several of them have been together lately. But anyway, she got stuck in Nashville and spent 3 days over there, which I can tell you is probably not 3 days of fun and pleasure. I guess if I don't know, does the airlines cover that if it's weather related? Does anybody know? I've never been in that. I've laid in airports for hours and hours and hours and hours, but I've never been put up by anybody. More perks for positive dog trainers. Would you go for that? He said he'd cross that aisle if between dogs and cats if the dogs were willing to, talk and compromise too. If the MAGA cat haters on that group though, they wouldn't, or not be MAGA. What would that be? Make America CF, MACF, make America cat free. That's not nice, is it? Oh, that sounds good. We used to do tuna steaks that way once in a while. Probably overcooked it because we were learning. Nobody even cared about talking about getting stuck at airports, did they? Oh, we're talking about Teddy running for president and tuna in every house. You want to stand up? My camera's out of whack anyway. You didn't get stuck in an airport. You can't get out of your house to get stuck in an airport. First prerequisite for getting stuck at the airport is you have to leave home and get to the airport. Oh, that'd be okay if you were stuck in the New Zealand airport. Yeah. Brenda's going to start a new colony in New Zealand. I've already heard reference to 2 Canadians, or at least 1 Canadian, 1 Tennessean. I don't know who else is going with them. Yeah, they sure do. Well, in fact, we had a couple dogs. We had Kelly's dogs over here the other night. You didn't cause any problems, did you? Kiwis are pretty cool. I've known a couple in my life. I had one that taught us about eating hoo-hoo grubs. Said they taste like woody peanut butter. But I've not been any place where I could try them. Caffeinated Misfits in. Are you in class? I'm the truant officer tonight. Are you in class, Miss Misfit? How's Rhonda tonight? You get any snow, Rhonda? You should have come up here and visited with us for a couple of days. You probably could have been stuck here. Oh, and speaking of the other young lady goes by tail dragger girl, I think. But actually, Sarah got stuck in North Carolina. She couldn't fly into Knoxville for a couple of days. Wait a minute. What are you saying no about, Rhonda? Something I said or something somebody else said? Oh, no snow. Yeah, I'm sorry. We got plenty for you, though. If you could have driven up here, it would have all been happy Friday Eve. Hey, Diana, welcome in. Yeah, I remembered, Rhonda. I'm sorry. Why are you not blue anymore? Well, that is obvious. Wait a minute. Who said that? You're not blue? Well, I don't know. It wasn't on purpose. I've never. It's kind of like once a moderator on my chat, always a moderator. I hadn't kicked anybody else out yet that I know of. Can manage block words and change chat modes in live. There. How about that? Type something else. Let me see if you've gone blue yet. There you are. Anybody else have that happen? I had a weird thing happen to me, and I finally figured out what it was a couple of weeks ago. I was looking for, well, actually, it'd been going on longer than that, and I didn't realize what was happening. But some of my favorite YouTube channels that I often watch turn on at night or something, if I'm just trying to fall asleep and need some noise, had disappeared. I couldn't find them. They weren't on my list of favorites, and so I went down scroll down and couldn't ever find them because the way they're organized just drives me crazy. Anyway, so one day I got to thinking about something, ding, 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 and I got to looking at, I had been unsubscribed, and I didn't do it. And I guess YouTube did it. I've heard that every once in a while they'll do that. And this particular site is a well, there's no better way to say it, but they're a firearms historian, let's say, which, I mean, it's history. And I don't, maybe that's why they cut them off. So I've been trying to look. I found 2 or 3 now that I've been cut off from and wasn't popping up at the top of my list like they should have been. There you are. You're blue now, aren't you, Rhonda? They should let us make you guys different colors just for the heck of it. I'm on the wrong channel. What channel? What channel? Tell us. Oh, well, maybe. Unless you were doing something naughty in that other one. Michelle, I didn't see Michelle either. I was gonna say hi, but I don't see her. Rhonda, what's on your avatar now? Why can't I look at it? All right, make sure I didn't unsubscribe you again, or not unsubscribe you, but Diana's taking too much cough medicine. Garrett, I'd be careful there. I've heard that she is not afraid of much of anything. You're gonna get you a T-Rex suit. You must, Brenda asked you about that. Yeah, the T-Rex is out with having a snowball fight. She found another one that was out doing didn't you find one, a T-Rex that was clearing sidewalks or something, Brenda? There's a whole movement started wearing these inflatable costumes. I'm going to drive downtown one day, and the streets are going to be full of T-Rexes and unicorns and what else am I saying? I don't like the T-Rexes as much because of the way they fit, but there's some other ones. Seems like I saw a Stegosaurus or something that somebody had on, and it looked a little bit more like the unicorn the way they fit on the person. I thought it was a little bit better, but she's Canadian, Garrett. They know things. That's probably right, Garrett. That's what it looks like to me. I doubt if does it say that? It might. Let me see. That is a face fuchsia tongue out. That's what it says. And that's all it says. And then there's face fuchsia poop shape. I never thought I'd live to the day when there'd be an icon or an emoji for crap. Reminds me of a story I heard once, or maybe I read it. But anyway, a lady, and Truman was president in the late 40s or early 50s, before Eisenhower beat him or whatever, how that happened. But Truman was in office, and there was a big dinner happening, and a bunch of people were there. And maybe he even gave a little speech beforehand, and he had used the term something was manure during the speech. And as they went into the dining room, this lady, and I'm going to assume she was probably snooty and upper class something. She walked up to Bess Truman and kind of got nudged her aside, and she said, "You really should work on making your husband not using such vulgar words when he's speaking to the general public and stuff." And she said, "What word was that?" And she said, "Well, he used the word manure in his speech." And Bess looked back at her and said, "Do you have any idea how long it took me to make him not say shit?" She said, so she was okay with manure. So you got to be careful what you wish for. Hey, Kay, welcome in. Sorry about that. Sorry about my language. If anybody wants to beep that out, go right ahead on your own time. But anyway, I'm not afraid of you, Diana. You're not late, Kay. You're just fashionably tardy. I don't count tardies or lates. Or I figure if you got here 5 minutes before I shut down, it'd be a win for me. And right now I see 0 hits on that like button. Come on, guys. Somebody must like me. Let me see it again. Oh, there's better. That's better. I got 9 whole likes. Wait a minute. Those letters. Yeah, I hope so by now. No, Carol or Diana, you don't scare me. And Carol doesn't scare me. Mike scares me a little bit. I don't know about Garrett. I'm not sure about Garrett at this point. I'm kind of neutral on that. Now, Brenda scares the hell out of me. I'll just be honest about that. Come on, Carol, you're a teacher. You should lie. And Mike, what kind of precedent are you trying to set? Brenda says, I made the mistake of arguing about religion and politics, and that still didn't get that person off the phone. Well, that's because that person doesn't. On one hand, she doesn't want to talk about those things, and on the other hand, she sure ain't going to listen about anything. She and I had a long discussion about religion and or politics a few years ago, And I just told her I felt like people ought to be able to make their own choices. There, Teddy. That's always tale. They ought to have a right to believe the way they wanted to, and things, and some of that kind of stuff. And she just got mad and said, "You just want to have everything your way." I was trying to say I wanted everybody to be able to have it their way. I mean, but that didn't click somehow. I'm not scary. I'm soft and fluffy. That's yet to be determined, Garrett. I've never been that close to check. I didn't see Tina. Hey, Tina. Hey, Chuck. Even if he's not here, he's listening. Donuts. Oh, Tina, you're having tooth issues? Oh, bless your heart. Well, or Carol, I would think that Mike probably thinks she's scary. If he doesn't, he probably ought to start, because that's a good way to get your butt whipped right there. Even acting like you're not, that your wife don't rule the roost. Now, Garrett, don't you even go there. No, it's no fun. Terrible. That's one of the worst. That's one of the worst things that anybody human can go through. There is nothing good about that. Or the actions taken to fix it aren't that good either till everything's finally said and done. And even then, it may not be very much fun. I know it's not for me. And it's not cheap either. My maple bacon, you got a hello from Chuck. Diana can dress up like a T-Rex and walk up behind Mike and scare the beep out of him. Now you're trying to make me look bad, Brenda. That did not come out right, but maybe you guys can. I think I read it pretty close, didn't I? Diana can dress up like T-Rex and walk up behind Mike and scare the beep out of him. Isn't that what you intended? That did not come out. Oh. Carol said she got the gist of it. Diana got it. That's pretty much, I bet Tina got it, so that's pretty much all that matters. Okay. In other words, the women all get it, or a majority thereof, and then it's probably gonna pass. I would say something about dressing up. But it would be really inappropriate, and Diana wanted to appreciate that. I wouldn't appreciate that. Uh-oh. Well, you're gonna have to come back in the private and tell me about that. You can't just throw something like that out and then leave us all hanging. Tina said, so did you, Tim, and everyone else in chat. He's watching a hockey game. Otherwise, he'd be watching better. Wait, what did I say? What did I do? What did I say? Who's he watching play hockey, Tina? I forgot. I don't know if the Preds must not be playing tonight. I didn't get a phone alert. I don't think. I would probably have them on, or at least I'd have checked the scores by now. I don't know what kind of phones you've got, Tina or Chuck, but NHL has a pretty nice app online on the phone if you are interested in such things. Listen to me trying to sell technology. Well, Pasternak scored 44 seconds into the game. Uh-oh. Oh, cool. They're doing a Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award nominations. Is that new, I wonder? That's kind of cool. No, they must not be playing. Oh, they are playing. They're playing the Kings, though, so it don't start till 10 o'clock. I got to, you told Mike he got a high. Oh, okay. I saw mine. I thought I said hi, Chuck, but I may not have. Oh, he was that app. Oh, he has that app. Don't. Okay. I figured he probably did, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. Hey, Tina, you don't know where the old, I think it's the old Reinhardt Airport, do you? Have I ever asked you that before? I'm sure that's not right. The old there it is. Ryan Beck Aerodrome. I just know it's in New York. Let me see if I can figure out where. If it's close to you one day, I might have to come out and find a place to stay. I can't see the screen, so if she's answering me, I don't know. I've heard of it, so maybe you can ask me. Maybe I did. Oh, it's in Red Hook. That's down closer to New York City. Hey, Teddy, welcome in, buddy. Welcome to the show. Are you considering running for president, sir? He said he has given it some thought, but his advisors are out, looking into that, and it depends on what they thought the possibilities would be. Well, that's kind of interesting and maybe a little bit exciting. What do you plan? What's your platform going to be about besides tuna and chicken in every house? Yeah. Well, he said there would be free reign for mice, and dogs had to be nicer to cats, but he wanted to pass the olive branch. Hey, Dean, welcome in, buddy. You feeling any better? Oh, I guess not. You gonna say bye? You gonna say bye? I love you. Yeah. Good boy. Daddy's a good boy. Kiss, kiss. We do ear kisses. Because that's what you like, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. So I guess by now you guys have figured out I didn't really come in here with a set topic. And if you hadn't figured that out by now, you ought to be thinking about it pretty soon. Yeah, Dean, I hope you get feeling better too. I didn't know. I remember something about you not feeling well, but then I forgot about it. So I apologize for that part. I guess everybody in here is probably a little bit worried about Princess Catherine. She's in the hospital. Oh, wait, wrong country. Hey, I have a question for our Canadian friends. Mike, Diana, do you guys get that kind of news from Britain on a more urgent basis? I mean, since there's still some ties there with the royalty, do you guys is that like a some kind of an alert that comes over the news when somebody's in the hospital, that kind of thing up there, or is that just have you guys pushed that all out now? I'm asking seriously. I'm not making fun. Well, that's a good topic there, Mike, because so am I. And I think everybody probably ought to be. I heard that at 6 a.m. this morning on the radio about the princess. I guess it was on our. Well, I know ABC had it. The local channel probably had it too. I don't know. I mean, they did mention it here. I just wondered if they made a really big deal out of it up there. I'm surprised that it gets as much attention down here as it does. But yeah, Mike, let's talk about that for a minute. On the other side of the world, I mean, it definitely is flaring up. We've gotten much more involved. I don't, man, I don't know how you. I mean, I don't know how you don't get involved if you're going to go out and act like you're the police of the world, of the free world, and you got a bunch of hoodlums, and I think they probably are. I mean, they're Houthis. Is it the Houthis? Houthis. They're going to be flinging rockets and drones and stuff at everybody over there. I mean, how do you not? I mean, they're shooting them off at our ships and other ships, and it really shouldn't matter who they're doing it to. Well, that's about how it is down here too, Diana. So I just wondered. The Houthis are taking orders from Iran. Yeah, I suspect that's true. And before I forget, Tina, I'm sorry we didn't get together again this week. I've been working on. Well, just to be honest, we're working on trying to find a place to live, so we're kind of preoccupied. That's another reason I didn't have a topic for tonight. I've spent my time looking at house plans and looking for a piece of property. Every time I think I've got something worked out, it seems to fall through. So, or a possibility anyway. We ain't got to the point of offering money or anything. Anyway, going back to Mike's topic, I think it's going to come down to leveling that entire country. That shit, and that's Yemen, right? Well, I thought they'd about already leveled that place. They've been fighting over there for a good while. There's a lot of Yemeni refugees over there, I think. You guys should move to Canada. Well, you might. That's a thought, Diana. If you guys had already got that fifth wheel, we'd come up and stay in it for a little while. Especially if it was a horse trailer, Mike. You know what else, Mike, about that? And I know this isn't the topic, but every time we shoot, they don't talk about this much now. The first Gulf War, when that all kicked off, or maybe it was even when we invaded Iraq. They used to mention this every once in a while, but every time they shoot one of those cruise missiles off, that's at least like $1.5 million. Those things are incredibly expensive just to shoot and blow up. You'd think they ought to go over there, drop the bomb, and come back or something so we can reuse them, but that's not how it works. So companies like Raytheon and other war material companies that produce that kind of high tech weaponry really make a lot of money when people are fighting. I'll have to admit it does give me pause at times. Maple Bacon says, "Heck, I want to move to the U.S. I don't want to go stay here in the middle of a war. We have no army." We'd come up and help. But the U.S. does have warmer places, Mike. Just saying. But you up with Trump at least for 4 more years if he decides to step down when it's time. Now we ought to do a book club on Thursday night. Get to sign some of these historically accurate books from the late 30s on some of these trials, and we could discuss that. Pretty sure the U.S. will protect the North. Cross my fingers. Cross my fingers. All depends on what president's in there. I think that could be, but I think most of them would be there to protect. We haven't got much of one left either, Mike. I'm not sure what that part means. Oh, Army. My co-worker is convinced that the Russians and the Chinese are invading via Mexico. He is stocking up on food, water, and ammo. Well, there are people out there spreading that rumor. The funny thing about that, Kay, or at least an odd thing about that historically, there's a really good chance that 98 or 99% of those people that are trying to get across our borders and get into the United States, if push come to shove and we told them they could stay and become citizens if they join the army and help us fight a war, say to protect us from the inside or the borders, they'd all probably sign up and grab a rifle, and the men anyway. I mean, and historically, America has done that. We did that to the Irish when they came here. A lot of the people had just come over, or were still coming over after the famine ended, and we put them in uniform and sent them off to fight the Civil War, which they probably had no damn idea what it was. A lot of them anyway, and there were whole battalions that were made up of Irish from New York, and even down this way there was Irish battalions, and they fought. There's a lot of Irish folk songs out there about it if you look. That's right, Diana, and I would say that that should be mutual, but as you say, I don't know much about the current state of the Canadian Army or Air Forces. I know they're not totally bereft of stuff. Well, I don't know, Mike, where we stand right now, but that was certainly the case. Certainly the case a few years back. Well, there's a question thrown out on the floor to Tina. I saw something else I was going to put out there. Go back to Kay's comment for just a minute. I think the scariest part of the Russian and the Chinese invading us is they're not necessarily doing it via Mexico, although at some point they could, I suppose. They're doing it electronically. and that's what scares the crap out of me. I mean, there are a buttload of Chinese, apparently, and I suspect Russian, both groups or companies or hackers out there that are just constantly trying to get into our stuff. And I'm sure in some cases they probably have. And that almost worries me more than them sneaking across the border or coming over here disguised as South American refugees. Because I mean that's a constant battle right now. I just sent pictures to our IG that Chuck wanted me to send you. Check them out. They're just on your IG, or you sent them to my IG? Is this these pictures of bills? Chuck wanted me to send these pictures of these. His dad brought these back. How old are these? I can't. I guess it won't shuffle. Wow. Who is on that bill? Is that Cleveland or is that Cleveland? I didn't realize he was ever on the 20. Just sent pictures. I sent them to our group. Okay, thank you, Tina. There's U.S. Air Force based out of 17 Wing in Winnipeg, an Army at Shiloh, Manitoba. NORAD base, of course, is there. And our posts all across northern Canada. Yeah, that's something we have to protect for many reasons, and I feel like it should be, for you guys as much as a $100,000 bill. I have heard of those. Never seen one. Oh, that may not be. That might be something else. Tina, does Chuck know how old some of these are? I mean, maybe I'm just not seeing the dates, if they have dates. I know that one's got to be several years old. There's a 10. The Central Bank of China. Wow. Tina, is that, I'm going to use this term because they used to say this and people didn't realize what they meant. But is this like big money? I mean, it's not this. Is this the size of our dollar bills, or are these larger? Even the old American bills used to be larger, I think. Well, I can't read that bottom one. Is that the flip side of the one above it? Is Garrett still in here? I don't know if that's Japanese or Chinese. I'm guessing Chinese, but that one character almost looks Japanese. Am I stuck? I'm not getting any comments from anybody. Or is just everybody looking at these bills? Well, that's neat, Chuck. Those are really cool. I love stuff like that. That's fascinating. Well, that's probably a good question, Tina, or Carol. It's a Federal Reserve note. I've never seen one of those. They're talking about Tim. That heart is in my way. I can't see it, Garrett. I can't see what you said. Wait a minute. Maybe I can over here. talking about, Tim? I'm Swiss. Oh, okay. I forgot you were Swiss. Does that mean you're neutral? The 20 says series of 1914. And yes, the money is much bigger than today's money. I can remember I can remember they did a Beverly Hillbillies episode one time where I think Granny kept talking about her big money. She wanted to invest big money or something and had people all excited because they were going to get big money. And she handed them these great big bills, and that's what she meant. They were just older bills that were just much larger, but to her, that was the big money. So does everybody have that little heart button that pops up down in the lower right corner of their chat on YouTube? And if you do, does it block sentences and words to everybody else, or is it just something about my computer? If I move it down here, which I don't like because I can't read, it's in the same place. Rats. Well, does anybody know if you can move it or get rid of it or slide it over to another spot? I can't seem to do anything with it. Probably means you can't. Well, doesn't mean you can't, but I'm guessing maybe you can't. It's just there. I have it, and it does block some things until it scrolls up. Okay. It's not just me then. How do we get rid of that? How do we all get together and figure out a way to blast that button? Or just move it up out of the way somewhere. Still leave it on there. I guess it's okay. Well, Teddy got my hand and pulled it in, and now he's gone back to sleep, Carol. You have to know how sweet he's such a sweet boy. He grabs my hand at night and pulls it under him or up against him, and he sleeps that way. I wish he'd do that all the time, because once I go to bed, he won't have anything to do with me. He used unless he wants me to get up, and then he gets up on the bed and gets right in my face and meows at me. Okay, Tina, that's what I figured. Yeah, I figured it was there and we were stuck with it. I don't mind it being there other than the fact that it blocks something. If I'm really trying to keep up with chat, I can't see what's behind it. Like for K's, I said, there is a way, but I don't know. I think it says how. Yeah, it says how, but over here I just see an H. What do you think, Tedder? He can't be bothered with it right now. He's working on his campaign. You guys have created a monster. I'm going to have to make up bumper stickers and everything now. Okay, pockets for president. Well, I moved it up, but I can't move it up. I mean, if it's the bottom, it just messes up the bottom row of the chat or the latest thing that pops in the chat. And I can't move it up till somebody else says something. That's when it gets me. So it doesn't affect it much. You move up a little bit and it's gone. You're right. But if it's the bottom thing I'm trying to read, it's blocked and I can't move it up. I think Mike Wheeler, Chris Dadbelts, and Steve know how to move it. Oh. But I think you have to do it for every stream. Well, I'm not that worried about it. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Tina. Thank you. I get it. So I can do that too. I can put an emoji in there and just, move it up if I wanted to really see it. Gotcha. Sometimes the obvious is not so obvious, is it? Oh, sorry, Tina. I thought I took that off. Okay, thank you, Tina. I should know that you can take care of that. I'm eating my dinner. Yum, yum. Okay, that's fine. I told you to go ahead and eat. We're scrounging. Well, I mean, we probably got a lot more stuff up there than it seems, but we got caught out by the storm a little bit and don't have a few things that we normally would have around. So, for example, we're out of eggs. Hey, John, welcome in, buddy. Popping in between periods right now. Hockey. Hope. So, how's that game going? I forgot to look at that game. I should have looked at Buffalo, but I don't even know if that's what Chuck's watching. I don't know. Does he root for anybody else up there, Tina? Or does he even? I think he roots for. Did you get a shovel? Why did I need a shovel? To dig out in the snow? I just had Rhonda, I just had a coconut cream pie. And it was yummy. That is not proper chat etiquette. I'm telling you, I'd be ashamed of myself. You know how much I like coconut cream pie? And I don't have one. The Jets won their game. Are they still at the top of the chart, Mike? Well, I can tell you that too in a minute. Did Tina answer my question? Same game. Oh, okay. Oh, the Sabres are leading the Blackhawks. And then there's just a whole bunch of games that haven't started yet. Well, let's look at the standings. Well, my goodness, look here. Winnipeg is on top of the chart. The number one team in the whole league. The Central Division. I think that's right. Let's look at the league again. Yep, they're at the top of the whole league. I'll do it that way, though. I can't tell where Nashville is, if they were even or still is. Ooh, Edmonton pulled ahead by again. Well, they played more games or something. Nashville's got more losses. They both got the same number of points, though. How can that be? They got to get busy. They've had a couple of rough games, too. The last bunch got eaten. The last bunch of what? Oh, more babies in the clownfish tank. I might could keep the topic moving and the conversation be more stimulating if I kept up better. Instead of just looking at the bottom all the time and saying, well, what are you talking about? I should look up more. Marie calendars. Did it jump on me? Marie calendars were on sale last month. This is the last one. Well, maybe we'll have to go look for one. Oh, I know you guys. I know some of you guys have eaten at Ohana's. They used to have the best coconut cream pie there. I don't know if that was an alternative you could get instead of their bread cake and not bread cake. What is that called? Bread pudding. Bread pudding and that wonderful, amazing, godful. That sauce they put on it is so good. I love that stuff. But they make a coconut. Used to make a toasted coconut pie there. That was cream pie. That was really delicious. If anybody remembers that. Yeah, okay, we've thought about that, and that we probably should. It's hard with clownfish though because they guard them constantly, and you could put them in with if you put the adults in with the babies, they're going the adult clownfish are the baby clownfish. As soon as they hatch, they eat them if they catch them, and there's a lot of people. They are relatively easy to raise if you are into that. You just got to be set up for it. You got to have the right kind of breeding enclosure to protect them, and you got to be there when they hatch to get them quickly. And you got to raise. Most people that do that raise their own brine shrimp to feed them because they're so tiny. Which one, John? The coconut pie or the bread pudding? Because I love both of those. I was talking to her about that last night too, Kay. I thought we might ought to get one to try, but I don't know. Maybe not to raise them, but maybe just try to get some long enough to see them. Because last time we didn't even see them. But we're not sure if they hatched or if somebody ate them last time. We think that somebody might got in there and ate it. Yeah, and I'll tell you who else has had at least really good bread pudding because they had a wonderful sauce they had too. It was a little bit different than Ohana's. That was is it the Animal Kingdom Lodge, the one that's kind of like, or used to be at least sort of like a buffet. Not necessarily a buffet, but you could go up and get new stuff and ask for stuff. They had a really good bread pudding and a banana sauce or something. When my mom was keeping guppies, we had 2 tanks. When one was about to have babies, we put on baby guppy watch. Well, that works. Boma, thank you, Tina. We used to go there occasionally and like Boma. I don't know about everybody else, but then again, it could have been the desserts that kept me there. I certainly I do have a sweet tooth. It's gotten worse as I've gotten older. There was a time when that wasn't that big a deal to me, but you can just ask Brenda. That's what she was fussing at me about a while ago, not having eggs because I wanted to make me some cookies or something. And what did she say? No, you don't need cookies, Tim. You're always wanting cookies. She's right. I always do want cookies. And you'd think that being married to her for almost 50 years, that wouldn't even been a question. she would smile and say, "Let me get that for you, darling." Oh, Rhonda, that's not even funny. I like oatmeal cookies, though, a lot. Tina says, and it is a buffet, and yes, the bread pudding with banana sauce. Yes, that, and I don't know what Ohana's is, the sauce, but it's similar looking, as I recall. It's been a while, but it was different, but just equally delicious. I'm reasonably certain my sweet tooth is what got me in trouble I'm in right now. It's my sweet tooth that hurts so much. Oh wow. Well, if they have to pull it or do something to it, let me know if that changes your appetite. Dessert and that sort of thing, Tina. Because they pulled enough of mine, you'd think they would have got it. It must be some of the ones that are still in there, obviously. I'm going to say this, and then I may regret it. But I tell you what, if I had it to do over again, I would have gotten these replaced with studs, because if I could afford it, they're so expensive. But damn, they're nice. I mean, you don't have to worry about them much, and you take care of them just like your other teeth you're supposed to, and you don't have to worry about them popping out when you're eating. I mean, it's a good thing. I wish it was more reasonably priced so everybody could get them. They make it sound like it's cheap on TV when they do their advertising, but it's not. Not if it's done right. And it takes 6 to 8 months or longer to actually get them done, but in the long run, they're pretty good. Okay, so it's the same thing. They're both good then. Well, that's why it makes sense that they're both so good. You have a lot of studs here, Mike, John, Dean. That's true. You forgot yourself, didn't you? I hope I have an implant. It cost me $6,000. One tooth. Yeah. I think they ran me about $2,000 each. I felt guilty as hell after that. But man, they're nice. Because for these, I have to plate or insert, and even that's not easy. How's that work up there, guys? Diana, Mike, do you guys get dental care? I mean, is it reasonably priced? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think it's reasonably priced down here anywhere. And dental insurance down here is just about next to nothing. You gonna stand up? Oh no, you're gonna lay back down. No, he just had a little bit of. He just needed to stretch a minute, didn't you? Is that the problem? He thought he had to burp, but he didn't. Yeah, implants are not cheap, but they're, like I said, that's what I meant when I said I wish I'd been able to do it to the other two up here. It would have been a lot, cost me more money, but it would have been a lot simpler. And the tooth I will have pulled will not get replaced. It's toward the back, so it can't be seen. Well, yeah, I can see that. I found out when I had a couple of older ones had to have pulled out that they did cause a gap, however. Sometimes food got stuck there. I mean, got down in there and didn't get chewed up. Unless you have benefits through work, it's expensive. Interesting. Even dentists are even in cahoots up there too. Well, that sucks. Well, speaking of that, and Canadian healthcare. What do you guys think about Florida passing that law that says they can they're going to start bringing in Canadian pharmaceuticals? Oh, it doesn't usually, Carol. You have to pay a lot more money to get something that would, and you'd pay out a lot more money, about as much money doing that as you would just getting the implant. So, I mean, it's so expensive. I always wanted to be a dentist. I'm good at knocking out teeth, but not too much putting them back in. Think about that a minute, though, Mike. You're on to something there, buddy. Because if you did learn how, at night you can knock them out, in the daytime you could put them back in. You'd have a cyclic business plan there. I had dental insurance and it only covered $275. Yes, Tina, that's about right. It's pathetic. I've had it too, and it's sad. But they'll give you a couple of free cleanings every year. Why does Florida want Canadian drugs? You guys have way better man. Yeah, but there's this perception, or maybe it is truth, that stuff up there is a lot cheaper. And it's true about some things. I mean, I think when our insulin was going up like a meteor, or no, that meteor's come down like a rocket, then but up there, you guys, it had a level price and it stayed at and was cheaper, much cheaper than it was getting down here. It was getting outlandish down here, and the guy that was doing it he just kind of grinned about it because he was getting away with it for a little while. I believe it is cheaper, but how much, I don't know. Well, that's interesting, Diana, because they sure do talk about it being cheaper. I always complain about our insurance, but it sounds like it is pretty good. My insurance through TVA was pretty decent. I don't know if it would have been the same as John or Tina had. Even though we were federal, I'm not sure that we didn't have our own plan because we were kind of separated. Well, John was too, though, right, John? If you're still in here, or you guys weren't really on the federal nickel. You guys were, or government nickel. You guys were self-supporting, weren't you? I think you guys got the boot before we did. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but your over-the-counter meds are a lot less expensive. And that could be, Diana. And maybe that's the deal. Maybe I'm going to say this, and you can correct me because I obviously don't know. Maybe your stuff that's covered, insurance-wise, is much cheaper as opposed to the OTC stuff being higher. Where down here, it's maybe just the opposite. Even that's gone up. I mean, and of course, I would expect it to, just naturally by being natural inflation, and every year, everything goes up. But I don't know about. That's what I've heard, and I know people go to Canada. I've read that sometimes there were busloads of tourists, literally, that would go up to Canada just to buy drugs at certain outlets up there. I don't know how it worked. Military is now on campus in Champ BA. I don't know about that. Don't know what that is, Tina. I mean, I assume you're talking insurance. Dad was on something at the VA, but that's been several years ago now. So I don't know. It may have even changed. Carol says our insurance covers up to a certain amount per year over the 2 cleanings, but it seems the older we get, the more we need it done. Yes, that is very true. I went, this is a true story. I went 20 something years without any tooth issues and never going to the dentist, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But I never went. I never had to. And when I finally did, the doctor looked at my teeth and he said, "Well, your teeth are in pretty good shape. You've got just a couple of little cavities we probably ought to fill or fix." But he said, "Other than that, it's fine." I said, well, I said, "That's pretty good since I hadn't been to a dentist in 20 something years." And he looked at me like I had three heads, but I mean, it was the truth. Did not have a dentist when I lived in Nashville, and I didn't have any problems, so I never had to go find one. And well, I mean, I'm not saying that I shouldn't have had cleanings and stuff like that. I'm sure it would have been better, but I didn't, and I just got lucky. I felt like I had good teeth, but then after I got out work and got a little older and I got lazier, I think they started cracking and popping out and breaking. I had some really old fillings that I think were causing part of my problem. So they broke out. I'd had them since I was about 6 years old, and dentistry was a whole nother world in the early 60s. Let Tina say, "Yeah, and I lost my dental 18 months after I retired, but since I paid for it, so I actually spend less now." Yeah, I picked up dental. I don't know why. I'm not sure why I did, because it covers almost nothing. That when I got those implants done, like you said, it won't cover it. And oh no, that's not what they said. I don't think they would have covered any or much, but they said, "Oh, that was pre-existing." So I need to cancel it because it doesn't do me any good. Yeah, it's funny how that happened, isn't it, Tina? I mean, it's sort of a weird phenomenon. I guess I got lazier about brushing my teeth. I mean, I'll admit that for me, because I was very strict about that growing up until I retired, and then I got lazy. Well, then all this back stuff happened actually right after I retired, and that threw me completely off every schedule I ever had. So I could probably blame a lot of it on that. And I like candy a lot. You can appreciate this, Tina. Maybe if you've ever seen the movie. Did you ever see the movie? Oh, come on, Tim. I want to say Dances with Wolves. That's not it. It's about a guy who went up into the tundra area of Canada or Alaska and actually lived in the wild and to study wolves and wolf habitat, wolf behavior, basically how they lived up there and what they lived on. What was the name of that movie? It was said wolves in the title. What was the guy that was in it? If I can remember him, you might remember the movie. Anyway, there was a couple of Inuit or some version of Eskimos that were with help that, every once in a while would show up. Hang on, my foot's not working. Damn you. There was a couple of Indians that, like a dad and his son, show up. And, one day the son's there, or when he first met, this guy lived with the wolves for a long time, many months, anyway, a year or more. And this guy, active shooter, UCF. That's not good. Right now, Tina or Rhonda. Oh, that's not the kind of news you want to get on a Thursday night. Anyway, the Eskimo guy came back. The young one came back. He was probably in his 20s or late teens, and he had a mouthful of teeth and just had a big smile. And the next time he came back, he smiled and he had no teeth. And he said, "What happened to your teeth?" And he said, "Well, that's what happens when a carnivore switches his diet over to sugar." And he said, they all rotted, and he had them all pulled out. Yeah, Never Cry Wolf, Diana. Thank you. That was the movie. What was that? What was that guy's name? He was in a bunch of other movies then. Like maybe in Mr. What's his name's Opus. He might have been in that. I want to say Hoffman or something. Anyway, near parking garage. I think they haven't shot anyone yet, just carrying. I'm going to guess they're carrying long gun. Threatened the bus driver. Oh, that's how they know he's carrying. That's not good. He'll end up getting shot. If Boy, they had a scathing report came out today about the response effort at Uvalde in Texas, where those guy came through the elementary school and killed all those. I know what movie you're talking about. Was it Never Cry Wolf, I think, Tina. We figured that out. The wolves were blamed for, killing all the reindeer. And it wasn't just the Eskimos were probably harsh, but it was. The wolves, they found out, were living on mice and voles and rodents they were catching in the snow. And that's all they ate. Dreyfus. I think it's Dreyfus. Dreyfus. Was it Dreyfus? Maybe it was. I was thinking it was somebody else, but maybe it was Dreyfus. That might be right. Now that I think about his image, that's kind of what it looked like. Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I was really into the Arctic back. Richard. Yeah, I know. Okay, it was Richard Dreyfuss. I've got several books over here on my shelf about the Arctic, and it's all kind of along those same lines about that kind of. Hey, there's Philip Dalton. It was Charlie Martin Smith. That's who it was. Thank you, Philip. That's who it was in that movie. You remember the Eskimo Phil and the teeth thing? He showed up one day and didn't have any teeth, and he said that's what happens when a carnivore starts eating sugar. Something to that effect. It was a good line anyway. Philip Meat Maple Bacon. You actually probably remember him from other things, but he had a different name back then. I'm trying to remember how it ended. Oh, I may have to go back and watch it. Did they end up killing the wolves? Who also played Terry the Toad in American Graffiti, which also had Dreyfus in it. Who dropped him off, Phil? Who was the airplane pilot? Was that oh, I can see his face. I can't think of his name. At least I think I can. Did he say already? Yeah, he got teeth at the end. He got dentures at the end. That's right. Buffalo is 3-0. Wow, they're doing okay tonight. Phil, the Preds don't start till 10, I think. You probably knew that already. Yep, there's my notice. I knew I ought to be, and there's another one. I knew I ought to be getting them sometime soon. Oh, that guy I'm trying to think of, but I thought was the pilot that dropped him off up there. Was his last name's Dennis something. Dennis. Come on, Phil, you're the man. Yeah, that's what. Oh, that's right. They did. The Eskimos did. Yeah. The crazy thing about that movie was he started living. He wanted to live. He decided he was going to see if the wolves could really survive on that kind of food because they didn't always eat them in front of him. He didn't always see them. They were gone sometimes. He didn't know what they were eating. So he started eating them. He figured if the wolves could live on them, then he should be able to live on them. And he started cooking the voles and the mice and anything that got in his tent, which was scads and scads and scads of critters. And he had all different kinds of ways of cooking them. Stewed them, fried them, put them on a stick. I mean, he tried them every way he could think of. You got me there. I thought it was great how much beer he dropped. Yeah, he did. He dropped. He just dropped him there on the ice with a canoe full of beer, and it seems like he didn't get other things he was supposed to have gotten, and the beer kind of took mouth biscuit. Yeah. Seems like the beer had sort of replaced some of his equipment or something he was supposed to get for his study. So he made use of the beer since it was there, but it was quite a bit of it, and it stayed good and cold up there. Well, guys, it's actually 10 o'clock. Was Dean going on tonight? Because I didn't see if he said, and it is time. See, you can come in here and we can just chat about whatever rolls off the brain and still kill an hour and a half before we know it. Oh, that's right. He wasn't feeling good. So he's probably not going to be on then. Anyway, it is time for me to have a rest break, a comfort break, as some say, when they're live streaming. And I'm going to do that and then probably go upstairs and eat my own dinner if Brenda left me anything. And go from there, guys. I appreciate you coming in. As always, thanks for being here. Hit that like button and leave a comment. If you leave comments down there for me, I will read them. And, if you've got a suggestion, I'll probably pay heed to them. If I don't, I'll tell you why I didn't. And otherwise, guys, have a great tomorrow. And I'll be on Saturday. I'm still working on that too. Like I said, I just haven't been thinking at this scale for much in the last week or so. I've been trying to figure out other things. But anyway, everybody have a great Friday. I hope everybody's safe. And if you're in an area where it's snowed in or icy cold, be careful about that. I know Mike and Diane have had some really nasty cold weather lately. We're complaining because it's getting down in the teens or zero here. Phil had -2 this morning, I think. Didn't you, Phil, or yesterday morning? And don't forget Teddy for President 2024. We'll get the signs made up. And but Phil was out. He lives out more in a rural area from here. He had -2. We had, I think Brenda said she saw 1 yesterday, either on our thermometer upstairs or the one that the TV flashed at, one or the other. So it's cold, but it's not as cold as you guys have been. So anyway, hey Phil, I saw where it was -12 in Nashville yesterday, and it made me think of a certain weekend where I think you might have been there. I'm not sure, but we worked on a Sunday and it was -12 and the water pipes broke and the paint wouldn't dry and, all that stuff. Anyway, all right, guys. Sayonara. I'll see some of you Saturday morning, I hope, and I'll come up with something to talk about by then. I promise. Kay and Rhonda can have it. They'd like to see it. Anyway, they're welcome to drive up here. They can see all they want. All right, guys. Bye. See you real soon.